All right, so we took a couple of trades today, two to be exactly, one of them being IOVA, the other one being JanX. But before we get into that, I want to discuss what exactly I'm looking for when I take these trades here. And I'm going to break it down to 3 steps, just briefly for you guys. Number 1, I'm looking for a aggressive green candle, so an explosive candle that pretty much devours all the previous candles in the chart. And in this particular case, it is this candle right here. So that's number 1. Number 2, I'm looking for some form of resistance that's being broken with that candle. So in this case, we didn't have strong resistance being broken, but it was still a form of resistance. If we look over here to the left, you'll notice that we have a point right here. So this could act as some resistance, as well as some levels over here where the price was pretty much in a range. Right here is what you call it. And the aggressive green candle just completely ripped above it. I could have closed a little bit higher, but this was definitely still good enough for me. So that's number 2, some form of resistance being broken. Number 3 is explosive volume. So in this case, the volume wasn't that high. It could have been probably like this big. This would have been explosive volume in my opinion. But the volume was still good, and I still decided to enter on this trade. And that's pretty much it. I'm looking for 3 simple things on the chart. Obviously, there is some nuances to that, like what do you even do after you take a trade, or there's a big process in terms of managing the trade afterwards, and we'll get into that a little bit, but that's just a rough idea of what I'm looking for in terms of the technical setups here. So we took this trade a couple of days ago. I think it was on Thursday last week. I'm not entirely sure, but it pretty much went sideways a little bit, pushed up a little bit, and it wasn't until yesterday when we gapped up all the way over here, but the price ended up coming down, and we got a red candle right here. So this was not looking good at all. In fact, this looks like a reversal bar right here. So this is what you would call a reversal candle. A red bar that has a small little body, and the body is closer to the low as opposed to the high of the candle here. So that's a reversal bar right here. I mentioned in yesterday's video how I had to move up my stop loss, so we moved it up 1/16 below it, which was roughly right around this area right here. And I was talking about how it will likely get stopped out, but it's completely fine since that's what my strategy tells me to do in a case like this. But against all odds, today the price actually managed to push up way above 20%. So we had a 20% move today, but ended up closing just below that, around 17%. So we just barely got to move up our stop loss just slightly, a little bit higher, and hopefully tomorrow we do get to see a candle creating a new higher low, which would be somewhere around this level, ideally over here. I don't want to see the price come back down over here, because that would just mean that, well, we'd be closer to getting stopped out. But pretty much the higher the low of the candle is, the better for us, because as soon as the market closes tomorrow, we'll be able to move this stop loss all the way up there, really protecting the profits that we've already made essentially. So at this point, it's not about are we going to make money or are we going to lose money. The real question is how much money are we going to make. So regardless of the situation, we're going to make money. And if you really think about it, that's really the position that you want to be putting yourself in terms of these trades right here. And essentially what I'm doing here is trailing my profits, using a trailing method to protect the profits that I already made essentially. So if you're not familiar with trailing profits or a trailing profit method, that was a quick rundown of what it is. And I do that with literally all my trades. So now let's discuss one that we actually took a loss on today. So we took 2 trades yesterday. I think it was KLTO and New P, and it's the same idea, looking for an aggressive green candle, breaking some form of resistance over here in the past. And we did get this green candle right here, some resistance, and then that combined with explosive volume. In this case, KLTO was actually literally the definition of explosive volume. If you see here, this volume spike just absolutely demolishes any previous spike from the past in terms of volatility here. So that's what we want to be seeing. Unfortunately, the price just decided to open extremely low in the morning and just take us out. So yeah, so if we look closer on the 5-minute time frame, you'll notice that it pretty much took us out as soon as the market opened here. We did spike up a little bit, but we eventually just came right back down to this level. Definitely not a stock that I wouldn't be holding at this point. So the entry was kind of flawless. Not gonna lie, we were in a downtrend, so that's a little bit bad, but the candle was there, the aggressive candle was there, some form of resistance was also there, and the spike in volatility was also there. Aside from those things, the whole setup was good, but unfortunately it just did not want to go up there. That's completely fine. Losing is part of the game. Just keep that in mind when you're taking these trades. Take your losses, respect the system, and you should be able to survive and eventually even thrive. Another one that we took yesterday was New W. Let's see how this one looks if we zoom out a little bit. Yeah, so perfect setup as well. Aggressive green candle here. Some resistance over here in the past. We broke above it. We closed above it as well. And the volume, not the best volume, but it was still decent volume. Definitely above average if we look over here in the past. Definitely above all the average candles. Not explosive volume. Compare that to KLTO, where the volatility literally spikes and it just looks, well, it looks like this. So the previous volume is pretty much just dwarfed compared to that aggressive spike in volatility. So this is the ideal volume, but sometimes you'll get setups like New P right here, and the breakout is nice, the candle is nice, but the volatility, again, that ranks 3 in my priority list. So you'll definitely be seeing me take some of these trades here with not the best volume like this, but definitely the elephant candle is there, the engulfing candle, whatever you want to call it, and the break of resistance is also there. So that combined with a uptrend is also, it adds conviction to my trade here. But today we didn't do much. We actually closed pretty much at this exact same spot that we closed yesterday. We did move down a little bit, but it wasn't enough to take us out of the trade. And I actually haven't even mentioned, but I have my stop loss set to the midpoint of the trading session. So initially when we enter the trade, we have our hard stop loss set to the midpoint of the body of the candle. So from the open to the close, where is the midpoint? It would be somewhere around right here. But since today we did close another new candle, we got a new candle, we have to trail the price. So we moved up our stop loss 1/16 below this candle, which is exactly where it's at right now at 473. Will it take us out tomorrow? I'm not sure. We'll just let the statistics play out here. But let's talk about the two new trades that we took today, which is IOVA, not the best setup here, at least compared to the other ones, simply because there is a gap right here. So the resistance that it broke was insanely strong, about 2 points here, maybe 3 if you want to consider this one over here. But it broke out of a strong range is what I'm trying to say. The candle could have closed a little bit higher, not gonna lie. Volatility was strong and high, definitely what you want to be seeing. But the only downside is this little gap right here. I don't really like elephant candles that have a gap like this. If you don't know, the market tends to close gaps around 75% of the time, so you definitely don't want to be seeing that. And my battery is running low, so I'm going to try to make this a little bit quick for you guys. So as of right now, the stop loss, the hard stop loss, is set at the midpoint of the open and the close. As you can see, we do have a little blue line right here which represents my hard stop loss, and we'll just see how it plays out tomorrow. So next one is JANX. This is a really nice one right here. The candle is beautiful. The resistance, not so much resistance. Volatility is there. It could have been better like this over here, but it was still good compared to the previous couple of days here. Definitely a promising one. Something else that I have been noticing is that when price tends to creep up like this, as you can see, we have a couple of bars climbing up higher, and then we got the explosive bar. Price will have a tendency of spiking up all the way over here, and even more aggressively than the first elephant candle that we initially entered on. So that's what I've been noticing. Hopefully this does apply to this stock as well. And I haven't even mentioned my targets. Where do I have my targets? Well, it's 75% from the close of the candle. So if we're looking at around, let's say the price was $1, I'd be looking for a target of 175. So in this case, it's 445 where we have our target, and we do sell the whole position at that point. I do plan on implementing a new method of maybe me scaling out of the trade, selling only 50% at this point, and then just trailing the rest. So until then, I'll just keep trading the exact same thing, the exact same way. So I would say that this strategy is definitely at the early stages of its life. It still has a lot of improvements to be made. But even right now, as it is a profitable setup right now, since we have around 15 trades, I think it is, not including these gray ones, since these were mistakes. It is a profitable strategy so far. So I would also mention that in terms of reaching our target, that only happens like around 2 out of 10 times. But that doesn't really matter, to be honest with you guys, since we are using the trailing method here. So if the price were to even go up to 4,180, let's say tomorrow that happens, as soon as the market closes, I will instantly move up my stop loss right under that current candle, and that will just automatically lock in the profits that I made. So if the next day just came right back down, we would lock in at least 50% of that big move right there. So that's really the way you want to be handling, at least in terms of this strategy for me. It could be completely different for you guys. That's why it's important to gather data. But besides that, those are the two trades that I took today: IOVA, JANX, and ended up taking a loss on KLTO. Still holding UP, IBRX as well. IBRX is actually one that is doing really good right now, actually. I already talked about it, but it's doing pretty solid. So if you would like to see the more technical aspect of the strategy, get more into it, I do have a description here on my Discord on how the strategy works. A little graph here to show you guys the example of it. Summary as well. This is the now updated summary here. I should probably delete that one, but the updated summary, again, I'm updating this strategy as the time goes by. So this is the updated version. Take it for all I care. The whole point of this YouTube channel is to help you guys out, give you guys some guidance, and hopefully turn you guys into profitable traders at the end of, or after a couple of years down the line. So that's the whole point of this channel. Hopefully this helps you guys. If not, go ahead and join. I do offer a watch list every single day, an hour before the market closes. As you'll see here, the JANX trade here, the IOVA trade, and then some other one that I didn't end up taking. So don't expect me to take all the trades that I do send out. Do your own due diligence and see which setup is actually the best, which leads me to the next point. I used to send out my trades a couple of minutes before the market closed, just to give you guys a couple of minutes to take the trade that I took, pretty much essentially copying. But that kind of defeated the whole purpose of me entering on the close of the candle, since the point of the strategy here is entering pretty much in the last couple of seconds of the day. So as you can see here, if we look at my spreadsheet, you'll notice that every single day I enter at 12:59 of the market here, with only one exception being this one, and then a couple of mistakes that I made. But this exception, I made a mistake. I entered the wrong stock, so I had to enter in the after hours. So that'd be the only disadvantage. But to that, I would honestly argue and say, why would you want to be copying my trades? I think that really just defeats the whole purpose of you learning how to trade, learning the skill, and doing your own due diligence. I think what would really be valuable is actually the watch list. This would be the only valuable thing right here. There's nothing better than getting a couple of stocks handed over to you for you to analyze them, and then at the end of the day, once the market is about to close, you make the wise decision whether to enter the trade or not. And then maybe a couple of minutes afterwards, once I uploaded my trades, you could actually compare them and see what trade I actually took compared to yours. So in my opinion, the only thing you need is a good little watch list, and that's pretty much it. So if you're interested, go ahead and join. It's completely free. I'm not charging anything for any of this stuff right here, so feel free to join. If not, it's completely fine. Just stay tuned to my YouTube videos, and that's it, you guys. I'm gonna end it right there. Hopefully tomorrow all these trades here operate well, except for KLT. LTO, we already got stopped out, so I'm going to delete this one out of my list. But these 4, Jan X, Iova, New P, IBRX, hopefully they do perform well tomorrow. I'll be here to show you guys the updated version of that. So make sure to leave a like, stay tuned for the next videos, leave a comment, subscribe, and stay focused, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.